How are you combating that stigma that higher education is reserved for those of higher socioeconomic status?
Well, I think it's a huge problem, and it's not just here at Michigan, it's all around the country. It's public universities and private universities, particularly ones that are at the level of excellence where we recruit the best students in Michigan and the best students all around the country. We've been investing increasingly in need-based financial aid for more than a decade. The average increase in the financial aid budget each year is approaching 10% per year. It's the fastest growing thing in our budget. And it bespeaks a commitment to the importance of socioeconomic diversity at the university, and a recognition that we have not been successful or as successful as we should be.
That idea of like the very large campaign about Global Guarantee, letting everyone know, is the idea that they could possibly get more costs covered as well known in a media campaign?
The most important thing about this campaign is to make sure that every student in the state of Michigan who aspires to this level of educational opportunity feels free to apply without the worry that if they apply they'd be disappointed because they couldn't afford it.
Okay.
That's the idea. And the word free is very powerful, and we're receiving great response. We don't have final data because we're sort of in the middle of the first full recruitment and admission cycle under the Go Blue Guarantee. But application numbers are up, and the proof will be in the pudding. And I think it's going to take a number of years because we do have a long way to go.
So you've stated in the past that you will continue to support undocumented immigrants on this campus. But what specific actions is your administration taking to do this as members of the university community potentially continue to lose DACA protections by the day?
First of all, we continue to lobby. So just the other day, I sent a letter along with the presidents of MSU and Wayne State to all of our congressional delegation, urging them to continue to put pressure on folks that are negotiating either the current continuing resolution or next year's budget, and the way it gets tied together with issues around immigration. And the frustration around DACA is it's one of those issues that has very significant support in many parts of the political spectrum. So I truly don't understand why we haven't been able to deal with this part of our immigration challenges at least.
So how do you think Michigan State should go about taking responsibility for or repairing harm? And then what lessons do these scandals contain for UMich athletics programs, and how will you go about ensuring students are safe from abuse?
Long and complicated question. So the simplest part of that is my heart goes out to these what appear to be hundreds of victims of a corrupt physician who committed multiple illegal acts over an extended period of time. The young women in particular who came forward to tell their stories, which were very personal and uniformly awful, in a public setting in the media, what brave people, and my heart goes out to them, and I hope that they can recover and heal from one after another after another. It sounds like just the worst experience I could imagine. As for MSU and how it handled it, I don't know more than I read about in the newspaper, and generally when I don't know more than everybody else, I'm not really going to comment about it. I just can't add to the debate because I don't have any special information. But it's not just athletic teams. We're here on this campus. I'm responsible for 45,000 students, and only 1,000 of them are student athletes or so. All members of our community deserve a workplace free of harassment and misconduct.
To the university at the beginning of the semester, you announced a campus-wide series of events and activities to examine the intersection of free speech and inclusion, an important issue that continues to challenge both our campus and the nation. However, some voices on campus have criticized this series as not directly addressing issues of white supremacy and its negative impact on free speech.
There's very little that's more important to the short and long-term success of the university than establishing an environment where everybody feels free to discuss their ideas openly and to learn from differences between one another. The big danger is that once we start defining who's allowed to speak and who isn't, those making those definitions may not make choices in the future that we agree with, and they might decide that I think the Daily has written about things that shouldn't be written about. They're against my values and they're offensive to me, so I'm going to shut you down. And God forbid something like that would happen. That'd be a terrible thing. I have no interest in providing a platform or hearing personally white supremacist views. You know, I have enough of an idea about the content of what some of these folks want to say, and I find it abhorrent, and the overwhelming majority of our community feels the same way. We just don't have a legal way to tell someone they're not allowed to open their mouth.